Now on BBC One, Inside Out, with Paul Hudson.
Good evening. Tonight we're in the Derbyshire Peak District. Welcome to Inside Out from Ladybower Reservoir in the Derbyshire Peak District. I'm Paul Hudson. Tonight, the terrorists recruiting young people via online grooming. We investigate the methods used by so-called Islamic State.
You say me, where are you? I go to I talk with the browser. I give the place, and then I say, in this time they come to you.
Also tonight, the illicit trade in aircraft parts from historic wrecks which litter these Peak District hills.
Why people need to come and take the stuff, I do not know. No good to them.
And grape or grain, why British wine made from vineyards here in the north is on everyone's lips. Now, so-called Islamic State are increasingly using social media in order to recruit young people to travel to Syria and Iraq. And a number of people from Yorkshire have done just that in the last few years. But what would persuade someone to travel to such a war-torn part of the world and live under such a brutal regime? Well, we've been undercover to find out.
Why on earth would you want to come here?
Khadija, Sugra and Zohra Dawood and their 9 children travelled to Saudi Arabia.
Talha and his friend Hassan Munshi are thought to have left Dewsbury in March.
So what prompted them? This man is an IS fighter. We filmed him encouraging an undercover BBC journalist to travel to IS territory.
Inshallah, I'll be there for you 24 hours every day.
We're going to find out just how easy it is to be sucked in by IS propaganda and social media, and show the struggle a group of parents and families face in their fight against extremism.
I need to protect these people. I need to protect my children from radicalisation.
This is Saviltown, a suburb of Dewsbury in West Yorkshire, and home to IS recruits Talha Asmal and Hassan Munshi.
Nobody thought in our community that Talha and Hassan are going to go and fight for the ISIS. And I still can't believe that they did that. They were just normal guys, normal teenage people, young people who liked football. What was happening behind the scenes kind of thing, I don't know.
A few weeks after leaving for Syria, Talha Asmal died, Britain's youngest suicide bomber.
That was the point where we felt that something now had to be done. We need to basically stand up and say, right, we have a problem in our community, let's tackle it.
Haroon and his friends set up a group to engage the community, organising events like this football tournament to bring people together and get them talking about difficult topics.
We've set this project up so that we could stop people from going. We can, work on de-radicalisation and engage. That's basically what we set up for. There's 14, 15 very vulnerable children here at the moment. They were the friends of the 2 lads that went away. So we're working very, very closely with them. We're giving them a safe space to come and let us know what they're feeling, what they're thinking, what they're seeing online.
They worry that other young people in the area may be looking at the same media sources that could have encouraged Talha and Hassan. We can't know for certain what or who convinced these boys to travel, but they will have had a good chance of learning about IS online. One researcher monitored IS websites for a month and found 1,500 separate pieces of propaganda. Other research claims 50,000 Twitter accounts have originated in the area.
Young people use social media all the time, so we shouldn't be that surprised that Islamic State, made up predominantly of young people, will use the skills that they already have. Without the social media, they would really struggle to get their message across. They would also really struggle to convince young people that it is possible to travel.
So what messages are they posting on social media to persuade recruits? There's one way to find out. Join the conversation. Meet Zara. This isn't her real name. She's a journalist. She created an online ID and started following IS people on social media.
Zara's backstory was that she was 25 years old. She and her family lived in the northern part of England. I came across as someone who was young, who was keen but didn't know how to go about getting into IS.
It didn't take long for people to contact her. Some interesting names cropped up. Omar Hussein, originally from Buckinghamshire, is now on a UN list of dangerous terrorists. Aqsa Mahmood from Glasgow is also on that list. But one in particular kept her in conversation.
His real name was Mario. He was half Italian and half German. He converted to Islam just 4 years ago, and he was living in the IS world for the last 2 years. We started researching and found quite a few German articles online.
Und dann irgendwann mal bin ich auch auf den Entschluss gekommen, wie jeder andere auch, dass man in Deutschland definitiv nicht als Muslim leben kann. Und dass Allah auch von einem verlangt, dass man einen Darul Kufr und Darul Harb verlässt, definitiv.
Mario began messaging Zara, encouraging her to travel, even proposing marriage. Catherine Brown has studied IS recruitment techniques. We showed her a transcript of the conversation. He starts talking about marriage.
Yes.
Within a day?
Within a day. I think there's a definite sense that that is of primary importance to him, finding a wife. The speed at which and the focus he has, that unrelenting focus as you go through about come and join me, and that speed is interesting.
Do you think this is literally just a personal communication from him, or do you think there is some kind of recruitment drive behind this?
I've come across communications where they're much more precise about how to travel, where to travel. Having said that, the consistency, the repetition is common of people who do try and recruit.
Send me one picture, no problem, inshallah. Even you send me one picture, khalas, I don't ask you anymore. I only want to see you.
Initially, he came across as someone really polite, really nice, but within 2 or 3 days, he changed. He became very aggressive, very demanding, very controlling.
You go and send me one picture, where's the problem? Well, I don't know what's your problem.
He completely messed my head, you know, sending messages 24/7. I felt he was constantly online.
I think you don't want calm. For my country, Germany, there are 16-year-old sisters, they come alone, and you are 25.
If he can make me, as a journalist who is just investigating a story, feel the way he made me feel, just imagine young 14, 15-year-old girls and boys.
There's a lot of pressure. I think that can be incredibly difficult to resist because you want to demonstrate that you are a true and honest and good person, and that makes it much harder to resist that.
Now, as Prime Minister, I want to work with you to confront and defeat this poison.
Before the attacks in Paris, it was estimated 750 people from the UK had travelled to join IS. The government's counter-terrorism strategy is made up of 4 Ps. Prepare for attacks, protect the public, pursue the attackers, and prevent the radicalisation from happening in the first place. Dewsbury is in one of the prevent strategy's priority areas, and as a result, would seem to attract funding.
We don't actually get cash money from government. We get support with a member of staff, and that comes in the form of a prevent coordinator. A big focus of our work has been in local schools in Kirklees. We've worked with community groups, parents and young people themselves, and that's very much about raising the awareness of online safety.
For the people closest to those at risk, there's a frustration that the government-funded work is having little effect on the most vulnerable.
We're very close-knit, almost ghettoised, and you know, we have a lot of doubters about the prevent agenda. Engage is about promoting respect and tolerance, and that's what we're doing. So we are welcomed in our community, and the reason why that is because we are community people. This is our community. We were born here, we live here, and that's why we care for it.
The work we do around Prevent is about safeguarding vulnerable young people. We'll work with anybody across the district who wants to work in partnership with us.
If any more children decide to pack their bags and go off to Syria or Iraq, that's the worst case scenario for us.
Aki? Our undercover reporter has agreed to speak to Mario via a webcam.
Salam. How are you, Aki?
What was it like actually coming face to face with Mario?
I was looking into the eyes of a terrorist. I was very nervous, I'll be honest. I know he was miles away. It was just a computer screen, but my first reaction was, you know, a terrorist, an IS terrorist, an organisation known for beheading innocent people, raping women, killing children.
They talked for over an hour, with Mario advising our reporter how to make a hijrah, a journey to IS territory.
You say me, where are you? I go to I talk with the brothers. I give the place, and then I say, in this time they come to you, and they take you. But it's all safety. It's safety more than you think. So don't be scared. There's somebody, some person, he want to rape you or like this. Don't like this. Don't think like this. Yes.
You know them very well? Do you know these brothers?
I don't know the person.
There's absolutely no message that this is a war zone at all. No concept that actually the place she's going to is violent. There are bombs being dropped. There are shortages of electricity. There are food shortages. There are medical supply issues. I think he's willing to say almost anything to get her to join him.
After this, Zara cut off all communication with Mario. This was one person he wasn't going to persuade.
A lot of people, even brothers, they say they want to come. I spend a lot of time with them, and after this they broke up or they don't come, you know?
Shortly after we made that call, our reporter got a message from a woman living in IS, one of the people who'd been chatting on social media. This time, she was warning our reporter against travel.
They're taking an incredible risk communicating that message. I think that's hugely powerful and in a way quite sad, because if that's how she's feeling and she's stuck there, and she, with the best will in the world now, she is.
We showed a transcript of our reporter's conversations to Engage Dewsbury.
I'm a father myself, and it's frightening that something like this can happen. And it can happen so quickly.
Inshallah, I'll be there for you 24 hours every day.
It makes me very angry that, you know, somebody could take advantage of somebody in this manner. And with these kind of words, where they're pretending to be quite holy, but really they're doing something so wrong.
This report, published this month, looks at young people and extremism. It says the first place they turn to for advice about radicalisation is their family. The second is the internet.
There was possibly a time before when certain things that would happen around the world that you wouldn't talk about with your children. I think it's important to talk to them about it.
High on the hills and moors here in the Peak District lie dozens of remote plane wrecks, a haunting memorial to fallen air crews. But historians now say that these sites are rapidly disappearing because people are taking parts of the wreckage and selling them online. It's a booming trade, but as I've been finding out, it's causing some distress.
If they'd taken it as a memento, I could understand it to a point. If they'd taken it to make money, that is really scandalous.
When they're just bits of metal that you found up on the mountain, they don't mean anything to you, but when you have that personal connection, you very much feel they should stay where it's happened.
From heavy wartime bombers to American fast jets, these hills hide an incredible history. Amongst the moors, valleys and marshes, shining pieces of twisted metal mark the sites of dozens of plane crashes. But these historic sites are under threat from a very unusual type of online shopping. So I've come up here for myself to find out exactly what's going on and just to see how much of that wreckage is disappearing. There are more than 50 crash sites here on the Dark Peak Moors. Most are at least an hour's walk from the road, but still the amount of wreckage up here is reducing. And I'm here to meet a man who thinks he knows why. Ian Burgess has been studying and writing about these sites for years. Well, we've walked for an hour from the main Snake Pass Road, and this site is pretty impressive. What have we got here? Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, what we have here, Paul, are the remains of 2 jet aircraft which crashed in 1954. They didn't realise that the Kinder Scout was in front of them. They tried to get over the top, but didn't make it, crashed into each other, and then the wreckage tumbled over here onto the moor.